K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
We got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls. And he found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose. U.S. Tax Shield.
That's the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
Game on, where progressives fear us and rhinos tremble. Welcome to the political jungle. I'm JD.
This is Stacey. No one is safe. No one is fair.
Lock up the children.
And the old folk.
Welcome to the world of
Check. That's right, everybody. Good evening. Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. JD and Stacey here on Game On that K98 Talk. Welcome, political freaks, geeks, and back alley sneaks. Everybody right now, get over to K98Talk.com. Get in that chat room. Say hello to Stacey, all the fine folks who have joined us. Congratulations to K98 Talk and that Ricky Ticky Tavi Rick Robinson, baby. Hitting them 50,000 listens over the past week. Thank you, Rick. Going to 100,000 real soon. We want to thank our lead-in here every Thursday night. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Radio Red Nation Rising, Jared and Lou being that female Barry White of that radio voice, baby. Tonight, Stacey and I are going to be talking sexy tax plans, baby. Yeah, dropping them panties. Kerry getting a Durka grilling on the Hill, about side deals. Yes, about side deals, and for anybody who's interested, it's in the third segment because it's real short. Sandra Bland is dead because she killed herself. Remember, kids, catch us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. here. Game On, Eastern Standard Time on that K98 Talk. Tuesday nights, you find us live again, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard for Game On. Sundays, we shift gears 11 a.m. That Bloody Marys and Broadsheets, baby. That yo mainstream media hangover. I want you all to pack the kids and the family truckster. Go past Christy Brinkley in the Ferrari. Join Stacey and I down at Red States, August 6th through 9th. Down in Hot Atlanta, coming up beginning of August. As always, get over to Spreaker.com, hashtag JD and Stacey for a catalog, and find the Johnson Nunu interview with Ricky Tikki Tavi, Rick Robinson, America Off the Whales, and JD Winter Egg with, who the hell? It was Rick sitting in for Lou with Jarrett, correct? Yep. Woohoo! National consequences. Who wants to go to me and my friend and go to Hawaii?
No. National consequences because the eminent speaker Bonehead decided today that we will not put a bill forth in the House to defund Planned Parenthood. Instead, we will send an investigation to the Energy and Judicial Committees.
This was Boehner's office commenting on just that. You ever get the feeling like, even though Republicans are in charge, and by the way, just to shift gears in my very polluted head, just clogged up with resin and hops over the last 35 years or what have you, everybody raise their hand if they can't hear Stacey Lennox.
I just got 5 messages in the chat room.
I don't understand why.
I don't either.
Still?
They said they can't hear me well. Boots can hear me.
Oh, what? You can't hear me well. This is now your problem. Go take care of your levels on your side. Like, I mean, how the hell much do you... Hold on a second. I produced the show. I cut the audio. I get this... All right. If they can't hear you, then it's a production problem. If they can't hear you well, it's a you problem. So...
Just turned my microphone all the way up.
Don't forget, you got to do the little thing down by the speaker with the numbers. Check your levels so they don't reset. How's your Skype? Being that hung up right before we went.
Yeah, no, my Skype is turned all the way up.
All right.
I'm very faint.
Okay, then what do you? There is nothing I can do about it. All right.
I'll just start to yell.
No, please don't. As a matter of fact, you need to turn your mic down a little bit because you're distorting now. Just turn it down a little.
Okay.
All right. So, what were you saying before this was all about you, and people can't hear me, so?
Me. Basically, John...
You have to turn your mic down.
Working on it. After everything with Planned Parenthood, we have decided we are going to not put forth legislation to defund them. We are going to instead send it to committee. So J.D. Winteregg will actually vote and support a bill to defund Planned Parenthood, and we need to do that sooner rather than later.
It's not just Boehner. Bob Corker, who everybody likes to worship as some conservative icon, this jackass has basically given up treaty obligations in the Senate. This is, okay, you know how we play the circus music around here all the time for the elections? All right, this is the music that goes in my head when I think about Republicans in a room trying to pass a bill that conservatives would actually like. Picture some big fat Greek broad in the chair right now, dancing all around the room. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But look, let's not give these idiots their due. Let's talk sexy panty dropping tax codes, baby. How you like about that? Yeah.
I love talking me some tax codes.
I don't. It absolutely sucks. But that being said, Rand Paul has literally advocated for he literally wants to blow up and eviscerate the tax code, which good for him. And every candidate out there has got a proposal or an actual plan that's out there. I think tonight we wanted to juxtapose this a little against Marco Rubio's. And before we get into Rand's, you can all find it on his website. Kudos for him for going bold. Shame on him and better on Marco. If you go, Marco's actually got a 26-page plan proposal. He's got income level structures. He's actually got the current law versus the changes and what they would do. I wanted to see a little bit more out of the Paul campaign, but I think they got the politics of it right with that video, with him shredding the tax code and the explosions and the rock and roll Star Spangled Banner. But I know that you are pretty excited about this. We had to put a towel on your chair so you didn't slide off it. So how about you go into? Why don't you give the setup of what his plan and proposal really is?
Sure. So first, I came across this awesome video where Rand Paul uses a chainsaw like a guy. I mean, at least let's give him props for that, right? So, and basically what he's putting out there is a flat tax, 14.5%. You know exactly what you owe. You can plan your life accordingly, and it really has very little to think about, I guess is the best way to put it. Mostly what I have a problem with the current tax code is the progressive nature of it. I don't need the tax code to make decisions or try to make me make decisions that I wouldn't necessarily make. Buy these products, you know, I get deductions if I have kids.
Social engineering.
Deductions if I have kids. I should just have kids if I want to have kids and I can afford kids. And if you just give me more of that money, I'll make my own decisions.
Avik Roy makes a point very similar to that in a Forbes article that I read today. I'm not sure if it was out today, yesterday. For those of you who do not know who Avik Roy is, he's one of the smartest financial and foreign policy minds out there. But let's get into a little bit of the details, such as they are, of the Rand tax proposal, because like I said, I was much more impressed that I had to spend some time with a highlighter and a slide ruler and going through Marco's 26-page proposal. But these are the broad strokes of what Rand and the Paul campaign are advocating in the tax plan. It's basically about a $2 trillion tax cut that would repeal the entire IRS tax code, which currently right now stands at 70,000 pages, and it's going to replace it with a low, broad-based tax of about 14.5%. That's going to apply to both individuals and businesses. I know everybody's eyes are rolling in the back of their head, folks, but you have to pay attention to this. It would eliminate almost nearly every special interest loophole. The plan also eliminates payroll tax on workers and several federal taxes, including the gift tax, estate tax, telephone taxes, all duties and tariffs, and they are calling this the fair and flat tax. It eliminates payroll taxes. They estimate that there will be a raise after tax income to each individual worker on average by about 15% over 10 years. I'm always very skeptical of those numbers, especially since they don't have the source material here. And it's basically 14.5 flat. It's applied equally to all personal income, wages, salaries, dividends, capital gains, rents, and interest, deductions except for mortgage and charities, which is politically very smart, and I also think economically astute. The first $50,000 of income for a family of four would be excluded and exempt from tax. Two things in here. One thing I wasn't crazy about, and I think this is on the political side, low-income working families, the plan would retain the EIC. But before we juxtapose this with Marco Rubio's, there was one thing that jumped out of here for both of them that I thought was very bold. And this goes back to something that you and I were speaking about Tuesday night, about what the party needs in real substance. This is right out of his webpage. I would also apply this uniform 14.5 business activity tax on all companies, down from as high as nearly 40% for small businesses and 35% for corporations. This tax would be levied on revenues minus allowable expenses, such as the purchase of parts, computers, and office equipment. All capital purchases would be immediately expensed, ending complicated depreciation schedules. Marco's plan has the same exact proposal. Not only, Stacey, is this something different, but they are bold enough to challenge and literally propose changing what's called GAAP, G-A-A-P, which are generally accepted accountings of print. Thank you. But I think that is of the boldness and newness that we've been looking to come out of this pack. At least that's jumped out to me.
Only one of them can actually win the nomination, but we should be looking at ideas from every single one of these candidates who are putting out serious policy proposals and say, hey, wait a minute, GOP, this is where we talk. This is where we want you to go. We talk about Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren bragging.
Mr. Vargas, are you in charge here? I will just leave the stage. The colored people are yelling. The colored people are yelling.
So if you want to get some of, I mean, in reality, if anybody ever had tea in their party, okay?
Tea in their party?
Tax proposal. Maybe not the exact amount, maybe not every feature of it, but saying, yeah, put more of our money back in our hands and let us decide what to do with it, both as businesses and as individuals. I mean, when you talk about the corporate tax rate we currently have, it's basically blamed. Business blames the tax code for keeping so much money overseas. If we became more competitive, maybe those dollars would come back home. I mean, that, I think, is the ultimate goal. Not just to give individuals more of their own dollars back, but to energize the manufacturing base and the economy, just like when you were talking about depreciation schedules. To immediately expense and not have to go through complications of depreciation and even inventory, first in, last out, last in, first out, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, I think it frees up a ton of creativity and a ton of economic energy.
And that's true, and that's what both of the proposals are based on. I want to jump over to juxtapose this, like we had said with Marco's tax plan, and I just grabbed it here. With the Avik Roy article. Oh, hey, jackass me! It wasn't yesterday; it was June 5th. But it still applies. So basically, he put this tax, this is Marco's plan. He put this together with Senator Mike Lee. And addressing the tax code, they were speaking of distortions. And they said, these distortions, first, by effectively integrating the business tax system, our plan will eliminate double taxation, establish parity between pass-through entities and C corporations, and remove the bias against capital investment. We will also allow for the term we here, folks, basically you can apply to the tax plan. We will also allow for full expensing of capital purchases, the same thing that Rand's plan was talking about at the end. Under this structure, businesses will immediately be able to write off the cost of purchases, resulting in greater investment, higher employment, more robust economic growth. Now, one of the first things they go after is that expensing, which I thought that's one of the first pages of the substance of his plan. It's actually page 6, where it explains what the current law is on depreciation. They are right between that and the amortized schedules. It becomes very complicated going out in time. Businesses, through time value of money, would much rather have the ability to expense that 100% up front. It goes into a beautiful, I love charts, about what's exempt up to where.
You like box? What?
I know, I like box. Oh my, you have got to, it sounds like you're yelling into a bullhorn. It really does.
Then I should hang up because as soon as I do, they can't hear me.
It's okay. We got to find a happy medium. Now, they go into the proposal. This is Marco's. Eliminates extraneous business tax provisions and does not renew any of the tax extenders that expired at the end of 2014. Their plan's treatment of foreign-sourced income, business expenses, interest expenses, and certain other issues render most tax extenders redundant. That goes back to your point about trying to tap and free up some of that money that, whether it's sheltered or in this particular case, a lot of that corporate capital that's offshore, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if you start to, I think both of them do a good job at addressing some of the barriers to maintaining capital and capital investment in this country. My problem with Rubio's plan, and I do believe that it's very thoughtful. A lot of work went into it. Et cetera, et cetera. What I don't like about it is it actually increases the tax burden on individuals at 35% down to almost $75,000. So people who are making less are going to be taxed.
That's a tax cut to me.
Well, my effective tax rate is right around between 35 and 39%. I mean, but at $75,000, 35% is the tax that's going to be levied. And what I hate about it even more, there's a nod to progressivism in here, right? Don't give me a lump sum for my kids. I'll decide what I need to spend on my kids. Thank you very much.
Same thing. Listen, Rand's plan does the same thing. I mean, even with the libertarian in the race, you have a nod to the earned income tax credit. You know, so
And I'm not a fan of
I understand what I'm saying. There's elements of progressivism in both of their plans. I mean, nothing's perfect. It's our job to point it out.
I like the idea of, ready guys, ready? A peanut butter approach to the tax rate, much better than I like a stair-stepped approach, especially when you start talking about bringing that higher rate downward in salary.
Well, whenever the peanut butter comes out, everybody knows. And then after that, it's... All right, we're going to work on the bullhorn issues over here on the speaker on our end. Coming back on the other side of the break, we're going to be talking... What else are we going to be talking? It is just not a show. It is just not a show without... And I blame John Kerry, JD and Stacey on K98 Talk.
Right. I thought this thrilling at my leg. I don't have that too often. Steady.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. Ricky Robinson, host of America Off the Rails, will tackle the important issues facing America today as he tries to keep America from coming off the track. Get ready to hear the truth every Monday through Friday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, here on K98Talk.com and the Spark Radio Network.
Nation Rising brings you Town Hall Radio.
From a single tweet to 3 million a month, our community is a force to be reckoned with on social media.
So don't miss our show, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on K98 Talk.
Our chat room is our co-host, and you ask the question.
Join us and be heard.
So get ready to sound off on Red Nation Rising Radio. No one else is going to do it for you.
Are you conservative in a world of liberal?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not alone. Hey, I'm Daniel Stafford, host of the Stafford Voice, and I'd like to invite you to tune in each Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern, where I'll break down the events of the week, and together we'll learn about how they affect you. So, sit back and get ready for the good, the bad, and the ugly of talk radio right here on K98 Talk.
Welcome back, everybody. JD and Stacey here with you on Game On K98 Talk. Everybody, right now, get over to K98Talk.com, get in that chat room, say hello to Stacey, start up the conversation. How's the chat room been, Stacey? Besides saying, oh, my God, I can't hear you. Might as well stop the show.
We're having a great debate between a consumption tax and a flat tax. I'm open to both. I think they both have the merits, but we got to do something that at least get the ball rolling.
Oh, all right. You want to have a real tax party? I'll get the ball rolling. Open up the chat room. I'm going to roll in some Molly, ecstasy, and blow. Everybody discuss.
I'm neither a drug taker nor a radio listener. Now discuss.
Hey, we got to almost 25 minutes without talking about Caitlyn Jenner Schmeckel. A javelin and 2 shot, but I'm telling you, I can't get out of my head when it comes. I don't know. You know, Caitlyn Jenner and Donald Trump they're like alien abductions. They've been taking over the show. But that Chris Farley SNL skit where he played the broad that worked in the Gap. Oh, you know, it was such a don't tell me I'm starving. He got up there and it was just like, look, JD's into all sorts of things, baby. Weird, kinky, freaky, diggy, weaky. But you know, listen. It's like the West Side of Manhattan after 2 a.m. Stay away from the Intrepid. Jesus. You're not supposed to let me keep talking out loud when I start doing stuff like this. You know where that gets us. Oh. I'm sorry. I gave myself an inappropriate. I'm still on Caitlyn Jenner, and I got the whole. You ever seen a grown man naked? Oh, that's right. Okay, we're talking about that. Who? What, Scotzo? And this time it's not them. John Kerry and Obama are going to. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph in a little tiny canoe paddling with a rubber crutch. I don't even know where to start. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph in a tiny canoe. Oh, okay. So. Well, can I go back to where Jesus, Mary, and Joseph and the rubber crutch and the canoe came? Okay. So you want to jump off with the Reuters article, right? Yeah. Okay. There was an article. When were we going to do this? Tuesday night or Sunday? Whatever. The whole asinine news cycle has just been front running and pushing everything. But this ended up dovetailing nicely with the hearings on the Iran deal that started today. This is a Reuters piece. Because it doesn't have the date on it, it says 5 hours ago, but I think this was Tuesday. Dubai. The United States said on Tuesday it was disturbed by anti-U.S. hostility voiced by Iran's top leader after a nuclear deal. As both countries' top diplomats sought to calm opposition to the accord, ready for this? I want to read the sentence again. As both countries' top leaders, that means Obama and Durkabob number 1. Okay? Both of those countries' top diplomats sought to calm opposition to the accord from hardliners at home. So Reuters takes the position in the first sentence of the article about the Iran deal that the comparison to anybody who opposes it back home is straight to the mullahs in Iran because they're comparing both quote-unquote hardliners, okay? Now, Kerry's got his dress over his head about, I can't believe they're saying this. But I do know that often, here's Kerry, but I do know that often comments are made publicly and things can evolve that are different. If it is the policy, it's very disturbing and it's very troubling. Now, later in the article, Reuters says it was a major policy achievement for both U.S. President Barack Obama and Iran's pragmatic elected President Hassan Rouhani. They refer to Obama, Kerry, and Rouhani as pragmatic, but anybody who opposes the deal and Iran's mullahs as hardliners. How's your propaganda mill treating you, Stace?
Well, I felt like I'd been punched a little bit, but what was hysterical to me about that entire article, JD, is for 3 days before that article came out, the day that Obama went and did his lovely little presser where he smacked Major Garrett around, they're waving American and Israeli flags coming up to the end of Ramadan. They're burning them, screaming death to Israel, death to America. This is not news. The leaders of these negotiations on Iran have been contradicting the Obama administration since the Accord in France.
But it gets better. Tom Cotton and Representative, Saline is, I forget his name. He's a House member from Kansas. Actually went to Vienna to try and source, because as we keep going back, folks, forget the fact that the Senate is ceding its treaty authority by playing the fact that, it's a JPOA, Joint Plan of Action. But Tom Cotton and this House member from Kansas got on a plane and flew to Vienna. And they were looking to get a totality of the documents from the deal. And all of a sudden, you start hearing about things in the last few days on the news about quote-unquote side deals. The administration has confirmed to Congress, and at least to Cotton and to this other congressional member, that the United States has not seen the document and the terms of the agreement. However, they will happily brief these members in a closed-door classified session about what their understanding of the intent is. Now, the IAEA mechanically does, and it does in the defense of what's going on, have a tradition of whenever they are in a country to do any kind of inspections, they negotiate their inspection terms secretly. However, folks, the Obama administration is running around, flying on their unicorns, doing backflips, jumping on their trampolines, touting the historic nature of this lurch. Lurch was on Capitol Hill today until his throat bled, telling people that he is the only statesman since Cardinal Richelieu who ever could have got anything done with these dirtbags, and that even though the deal probably somewhat sucks, and we haven't read the whole thing, and side deals, well, you found out about it, but we ain't going to read what's in it either. They're in a position where, you talk about social engineering in the tax code. These people are playing a social engineering game with the lives of 330 million Americans, the lives of every Israeli in the Middle East, and God knows how many others. General Ray Odierno, in an interview with Jennifer Griffin within the last month, and this is before any of this came up, said that in his last tenure, in the last 3 quarters of the war in Iraq, the guy, Durkabab number 516, who's the head of the Al-Quds force, which is the Iraqi Revolutionary Guard's basically terror arm, who's about to have sanctions lifted on him, was responsible through his proxies for the death of something like 2,000 or 3,000 American soldiers. They weren't being killed by the Iraqi National Army. They were being killed by the Al-Quds force in Durkabab number 415.
I can't keep track of the Durkababs anymore.
That's why your number... Okay. Durkabab. All right, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me take out. I'm in the process of writing this. I'm going to release this around Christmas time, folks. This is a lovely gift for the family. This is the Durka Guide for Dummies. Okay. So, in the Durka Guide for Dummies, any Durka perceived or accepted to be head of a nation-state, terrorist organization, cell, or any kind of dirty, doesn't-shower, mud-hutted bassack with nonsense is to hereby be referred to as Durkabab number 1 in conversation, so we know who the head Durka mudhut goat-banging jerk-off is, okay? Then, in the course of the conversation, we label these mudhut Durka goat-banging jerk-offs according to how far down the line they go. So in this particular case, because Durka jerk-off number 1 runs the country, Durka jerk-off Al-Quds moron is 415. Do you know how hard it was for me to do that without any profanity? No, I didn't. No, these are your curses. No, I mean real curses. Your BS radio curses.
But, I mean, I think the comparison of anyone who opposes this deal or is questioning this deal as being a hardliner is A, offensive, and B, ridiculous. To me, the hardliners are the ones who are looking at this deal and saying, it's historic. This isn't historic.
It's historically bad. It's historically bad. Let me tell you something.
There's an over-under on Twitter as to when they're going to detonate their first nuclear test.
You ask Joseph Levine and every Jew living in Israel if this deal isn't historic. It is historic. Let me tell you something. It's not bad enough for Israel that they got to deal with Durkabab number 1 through Durkabab 87,093,406 because they got the whole mudhut pack of them over there. But now they got to worry about their blind side and their flank with, what's supposed to be the country that's the biggest defense for democracy, freedom, and liberty in the free world. They're the only thing that resembles a democracy, and that backwards, godforsaken. And yes, I'm tired about it. No, don't tell me about poverty. This idiot down in Chattanooga is living in a house that you can fit 78 people in. So I don't want to hear about this poverty and no jobs crap. Martin O'Malley's running around saying that climate change is what causes these jerk-offs. No, and here's the point, because I don't want to get completely sidetracked. Circle back to these are the people that John Kerry and the administration are negotiating with. You have Kerry literally on Capitol Hill today with a straight face telling people who are asking, at this point, they're not even questioning the deal. The best point that Tom Cotton had was that the clock shouldn't start running on the 60 days is because nobody's seen the term of the deals. And he sat there with a straight face and really told people they are so self-absorbed, these morons. And this goes back to they are so self-assured in the fact that they're going to implement their agenda. And he just sat up there and seriously told people that he was the only person on God's green, God, you know what I'm saying, on the planet who can get this done with a straight... let me tell you that. Oh, you know what? Good for the Donald, because everybody in the Republican Party, take a page out of his book. Forget about what he says and what you like about him, don't like about him. He had a set-up question at an event today down in Texas, and Jose Diaz-Balart, for those of you who don't know him, he actually comes from a political family out of Miami in South Florida. He's now a quote-unquote journalist, because I guess he wasn't good enough to go into public service. The funny thing is the majority of his family are Republicans. He has basically become who he is by being NBC and MSNBC's biggest advocate for amnesty. So he shows up and he trails and he trolls Trump at this event, and he starts asking a question, and Trump shuts him down and says, you want to know something? This is the problem with the media. No. He wouldn't let him talk. He goes, this is a set-up question, and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, good on Trump and the media. But back to this Durka moronic deal. Remember when... That's where I was coming to. It's funny. I thought so. No. That's not the case. All right, so we have a clip here. Stacey and I were, because we love all of our political freaks, sneaks, and back alley geeks, or whatever the hell the term is. When we were going through, the first person I looked at, I went through Rubio's questioning, and it was good and it was stern, and I listened to some Republicans and some Democrats. Bob Menendez. Now, keep in mind, the administration, the DOJ, Democrats don't eat their own, and ever since Bob Menendez has been making noise about keeping Iran sanctions on and bucking this deal, they have given him holy hell, and they dropped the thing with him and Dr. Melgen. There's a big investigation. But this is Menendez in the Senate hearing today. This is Democrat. There is nothing. Let me tell you something. For those of you who are home alone right now, turn the lights out and put your pants around your ankles, because this is political porn. This is dem-on-dem violence.
About the lifting of the arms embargo that creeped its way into this deal. As I read the Security Council resolution on page 119, on Iranian ballistic missiles has in fact been lifted. The new Security Council resolution is quite clear. Iran is not prohibited from carrying out ballistic missile work. The resolution merely says, quote, Iran is called upon not to undertake such activity. Now, previously, in Security Council Resolution 1929, the Council used mandatory language, where it said, quote, it decides that Iran shall not undertake any activity related to ballistic missiles capable of delivering nuclear weapons. Why would we accept inferior language that changes the mandatory shall to a permissive call upon? We often call upon a lot of countries to do or stop certain actions in the UN, but it doesn't have the force of shall not, which has consequences if you do. Can you answer simply, is Iran banned from ballistic missile work for the next 8 years?
They are,
No.
well,
No.
you want to answer, Senator?
Yes, I will.
That is not accurate. The exact same language that is in the embargo is in the agreement with respect to launches. And that is under Article 25 of the UN. And that is exactly where it is today in the language. But in addition to that, Iran did not want it, and we insisted on it. They are restrained from any sharing of missile technology, purchase of missile technology, exchange of missile technology, work on missiles. They cannot do that under Article 41, which is Chapter 7 and mandatory. And it does have the language
Well, I'm reading to you. I'm reading to you from the Security Council resolution that was adopted, codifying the agreement.
Security Council resolution.
And that Security Council resolution says Iran. Mr. Secretary, I'm reading you explicit language. I'm not making this up. Iran is called upon, correct, not to undertake that.
That's
activity.
the Article 25.
That's far different. That shall not.
All right, we got less than a minute left for the politics of this. The Democrats are scared as hell to go home over the summer break with this. They hear and feel footsteps and shadows of the health care debate 5 years ago, don't they?
I sure hope so. I'm sorry. I could barely breathe during that video. Slick, this is for you. I am never going to forgive you for that.
What I miss? What I miss?
Played a little with your comment on violence.
Listen, that's about enough of the. But Stacey and I can set up and tease you for what's coming through on the other side, because you want to know what? I'm sick of all the nonsense, folks. Yes, from now on, Stacey and I have a brand new Black Lives Matter theme song coming up for our segment. We're going to hell for this one. Remember, folks, when anybody says Black Lives Matter, think JD and Stacey on K98 Talk.
To invite you to check out my show. It's a 2-hour show that lasts 60 minutes. And listen, I hate to interrupt, but one thing I can do is read off a script. Just say, let me be clear a lot. It works. President Obama, I can handle this. It's a radio promo. I'm not green. I've done this before. Did someone say green? Now, here. Listen, I'm just trying to record a radio promo. Do you mind? Now, do you say good things about me on the show? No, not at all. But if it makes you feel any better, I rip on Republicans just as much. Your AM radio frequencies give off very high levels of radiation. Look, my show is on the internet, which you invented. Can I just do my promo? I got a pen. I can veto that, you know. I know you got a pen. It's not a law. It's a radio promo. Listen, just listen to my show. Barack Obama and Al Gore hate it, so you're going to love it. Here's another. Don't listen to the show. He doesn't like me. He's racist. And he doesn't recycle either. That's it. I'm done. It's According to Me, Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on K98 Talk. Wondering why you're up early with us on this Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hung over from the mainstream media by Sunday? We got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with blues.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Brunch. Every big Sunday, it's Bloody Marys and Brunch.
We're your cure from the weekly news hangover.
Welcome back to Sanford and Son here on K98 Talk. Elizabeth, it's the big one. I'm coming, Elizabeth. Oh, my God. And Lamont would be so happy he'd inherit the entire junkyard. JD and Stacey joining you back here for the last part of the show, coming up into the 10 o'clock hour here on K98 Talk. Everybody get in the chat room right now for the last part of Game On. K98Talk.com. Get in there, say hello to Stacey. And, of course, not when you're listening to the show, but after the show, when you got some free time, you go over to that Spreaker.com. You hashtag what, darling? Woo! Oh, you want some fish? It's okay. Listen, you know what? It's you know why you're with us? You're with us because Quick, ask the chat room right now. First one to name the movie wins a prize. See if anybody gave anybody.
Name the movie from Netflix, you get a prize.
Oh my.
JD's giving it. So
Oh my God! You know, you've spoken to the women in my life. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so Stacey and I we had talked about the premises of our shows, and one of the things that we don't really like to get involved in because we don't. Stacey and I are two people that do not look at things in the context of race. We just don't. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. You can't. I mean, you walk outside your door, once you've gone about, 300 yards, you've passed 172,937 different nationalities and 400,000 different languages. I'm still not sure how that works, but it's true. But both of us have had it, and we're sick of it, okay? I'm sick of waking up every day and opening my eyes, and just because I don't toe the line and buy into the nonsense that's being sold to me by the media, the White House, and the rest of the social engineers out there that seem to have grabbed the sleeping nation, and they're just trying to euthanize it to death. If I don't toe that line, I'm a racist cracker, and my life doesn't mean anything.
not a cracker.
No, I know. Well... but it's if you're conservative, look, you had Martin O'Malley up there getting panned for saying that all lives. He apologized for saying that all lives and white lives matter. So from now on, Stacey and I are joining the fight. You think the left is smarmy? You think the left is sitting there out there making noise and driving narrative? Ladies and gentlemen, Stacey and I give you the new Black Lives Matter theme song. And I want to keep playing it because this is pissing somebody off. Say it with us, folks. Black Lives Matters are a bunch of racist loony scalabags. All right, what are we talking about? We're talking about Sandra Bland, who happened to be, remember when we were younger, you would say that people went to college and they would focus their life on something asinine. You would kid around and say, what did you major in, underwater basket weaving? Well, now you can actually become a Black Lives Matter activist, which is what this Sandra Bland woman, who they're all up in arms now saying there's some secret conspiracy of Texas racists that hung her in a jail cell. Sandra Bland was arrested by a Texas trooper after a traffic stop for switching lanes without signaling on July 10th. The encounter began as a routine stop, but escalated after the trooper ordered her out of the car. I would recommend everybody go to YouTube and put in Sandra Bland, B-L-A-N-D, trooper dash cam video. The whole unedited video is up there. You can decide for yourself on the behavior of the officer and how the arrest went down. Blonde basically escalated a traffic stop over a failure to signal into failure to comply with a lawful order. This led to her arrest and being placed in, I'm not sure if she was being placed in the Walter County Jail. 28 years old. She hung herself. How do I know she hung herself? Was JD in the room with a GoPro camera? No, the autopsy came out, but we'll get to that. On July 13th. Jail intake forms released Wednesday show the answer of yes to a question of whether or not Bland attempted suicide in the past. But some of the forms didn't match. One says Bland attempted suicide. The other handwritten form appears to show in 2014. The reason listed on both was a lost baby and pills. The form answers yes to the question, have you had thoughts of killing yourself in the last year? One says yes, one says no, but both forms have the question. She had also described herself as, quote, very depressed in the past, and felt that she was not on that day. How does JD know that? That was on the booking form. Now, let's fast forward into the Bland family, and Cannon Lambert, who was one of the attorneys representing the family, who told reporters yesterday that relatives have no evidence that she ever attempted suicide, been treated for depression, and now the Black Lives crowd matters says what? Stays.
Crowd was screaming her name at Netroots. They, of course, are alleging that she died at the hands of law enforcement. The autopsy is wrong again, because every time the autopsy show something that debunks their narrative, clearly it's a conspiracy because there's some old white billionaire running around the country paying off medical examiners. No, there's an old white billionaire financing their whole freaking movement.
I'm a little reticent to break this, but it just broke to me through a Fox News report about a movie theater shooting and a gunman killing himself. I just can't see right now whether it's Louisiana or Los Angeles. But that is something I'm comfortable enough saying is at least the report at the moment. Do you see anything about that out there right now, Stacey?
Several people shot at movie theater in Lafayette, Louisiana, Fox 31.
All right. Well, alongside with everything else, everybody just pause for a second and have the, law enforcement and anybody. Yeah, exactly. But let's not get off topic. Let's stay with these Black Lives Matter morons. They don't. I mean, this is a racist movement by definition. And now they're questioning the autopsy. The autopsy revealed scars on one of Bland's arms consistent with cutting attempts. She also had cutting attempts at the autopsy said as recently as 2 weeks ago. The preliminary toxicology report said she tested positive for marijuana. I don't know a lot of people that get high and then hang themselves, but, that may have been a cause and not an effect. But here you have another case of facts getting in the way of narratives of people who really don't have the best interests of the social fabric of this country in mind. And I'm going to say it. You can get behind me and agree with it. You cannot. I don't have a problem with it. And like I said, these were issues you and I were, not purposely because we didn't want to, but we don't see things in that vein. I'm going to say it right now. I'm tired. I say our political candidates don't fight back. The Black Lives Matter movement in this country is inherently racist. We'll say it again. The Black Lives Matter movement in this country is inherently racist. Oh, my God, J.D., what a skelly scumbag. How could you say that? How could I say that? Here's Sandra Bland in a Facebook video post from March or April of this past year who's about to be sainted for another group that doesn't believe what? States the third, fourth, the fifth autopsy report in some city where somebody got killed. There must be some racist white billionaire running around buying off the coroner's offices. Okay. So before the media puts her on the side of the Sistine Chapel and just beatifies her, this is the sainted Sandra Bland in her own words about all you whiteys a couple of months ago.
This morning doing something productive, successful, something that is going to help establish your kingdom and kingdom. Today's Sandy Speaks is going to focus directly on my white people. White people. Yes. Black people know that all lives matter. But what I need you guys to understand is that being a black person in America is very, very hard. Although you all love to say, oh, nobody should see race. People are the reason. Black races have no power, whereas white races do. They have power because they are in positions of control, or they're in positions where they can influence the control over black people. Yes, that is very true. So to my friends who want to get on my videos and they're upset about the picture that I posted, oh well, I will not apologize for it, because at the moment, Black lives matter. They matter. Our media is showing you. Obviously, they don't. So for y'all that can sit around and say all lives matter, I want you to go put it on a poster and stand out on a corner somewhere. If we can get enough white people to show that all lives matter, maybe they'll stop killing our black brothers. Because obviously that's what it's going to take. For the white people to get up and get tired of black people saying black lives over the edge. So if y'all want to stop,
don't interrupt her. You're racist.
but what you're not going to do is get on my page with the foolishness.
Oh, I'd have loved to got on her page. You will be unfair.
So I mean, look, we
love for her to unfriend me. No, JD, just
minute and a half. Go.
Moronic statement. Maybe the white people stop killing the black people.
Yeah.
Black people need to stop killing each other.
Thank you.
On which Black Lives Matter, it makes me want to puke in my shoe.
I mean, forget. You know what? You really want to throw a bomb at the left on the race issue tonight? You really want to throw a bomb at the left on the race issue tonight? Let me. Well, how about we leave that here's food for thought, because maybe, just maybe, this is part of the problem.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Because do not tell me that a complete, and I do not want to sound like Bill O'Reilly, because I'm the last social issue guy in the world, but you cannot tell me that the breakdown of the family within that community, look, the value of life in certain segments of the African American community are lower than they are in other segments of the population. The percent, look, human nature is human nature. You are more likely to be killed if you are a young black male by another young black male than anybody else in this country. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, horror of horrors. If you're a young white male in this country, guess who you're most likely to get killed by? Another young white male. This isn't rocket surgery. It's these idiots trying to social engineer everybody, and they're going to use this poor, depressed, disturbed woman's suicide to do it. I can't believe hours go by so quick. Lady girl, do you got those keys?
I got those keys.
Ooh, are you going to be able to keep? You know what? I keep playing the wrong. Are you going to be able to keep sane between now and we come back Sunday?
I'm really not sure. I'm hanging on by a thread. The Quinnipiac poll made me feel better yesterday, but I'm losing it again.
You know what I find helps me with just about everything, folks? Booze. And then when the booze don't work, I try more booze. And then I fall off my bar stool, and that's how I end up in dark alleyways, city places, and joints I shouldn't be. I'll see you guys next week. And stick around for the commercial.
I'm looking for you, you occupied freaks with your glitter bombs. Bring it on! Bring on the glitter. Everything has changed. Everything has changed in the last few years. Conservatives used to take it, and we're not taking it anymore.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Giggity, 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 let's have sex.